Good morning, YouTube. This is Amanda coming at you on, I don't even know what day it is. I know it's a Monday. I think it's August the 14th. Anyway, I'm coming at you. I don't even know how many weeks. It's one of those things, like, once you get past several months or whatever, it's kind of hard to keep up with the weeks. But I decided to make a video today for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've got, I believe this would be my 5th month post-op appointment with my dietitian and my emotional and fitness support nurse. So basically, on the 10th, I was 5 months post-op. So I'm going to start with my stats. I am 32 years old, just turned 32 a month ago. I had surgery. I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy with Dr. Tuliadis through the Advanced Surgeons group at Grandview Medical Center on March the 10th of this year. My high weight was 260 pounds. My weight on the day of surgery was 244 pounds. And 5 months post-op, I'm down 65 pounds. This morning I weighed in at 195, so I'm really excited about that. I've really been focusing the last week or so. I've really been focusing on, like, getting my vitamins, because that was a big thing that I was struggling with, was my vitamins. So I've really been focusing on that. I have been trying my best to drink as much water as possible, and I have, over the past month or so, tried different things. I don't want to say trying, bad things, but yes, I have tried fried foods, and I've tried, certain things like that. I haven't taken it overboard. I did feel like I was kind of being a little too lenient and not strict enough on myself. Therefore, I kind of put a stop to it. And this was within the past week. I decided, you know what? I was doing so well, I had so much confidence, and I was seeing the numbers drop, and it made me feel good. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk to y'all about today is, I always try to keep my videos positive, and this one's not going to be any different. There will be an exception. I do want to talk real talk, such as, when you decide to have this surgery, you've got to make sacrifices. Those sacrifices are going to be carbs. They're going to be simple carbs, sugar, generally bad foods. And so in order for you to be successful, you have to cut those out indefinitely. It's one of those things, like, I'm not going to be able to eat bread. I'm not going to be able to eat rice. I'm not going to be able to eat pasta. And that was something that I was okay with, and I'm still okay with that. Now, that's not to say you can't have brown rice, on occasion. We eat a lot of quinoa in my house, and the main reason is because it is a whole grain. Everybody in my house likes it, so why not, right? It actually has protein in it. Therefore, if I'm making, like, one of our favorite meals at the house is shrimp fried quinoa. So I do it just like shrimp fried rice, but in place of the rice, I use quinoa. And everybody in my family loves it. We never have leftovers. That's how good it is. Another thing that we love is, like, egg roll in a bowl. And you wouldn't think that we would have that on a regular basis, but that is one of our, like, we have it at least 2 or 3 times a month. So getting back to what I was saying, you have to make these sacrifices, but you don't have to look at it like, oh, I'll never be able to have that again. You just have to look at it like, oh, I might can have that every now and then. One of the big downfalls for me has been sweets. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I have kids and a husband in the house that, they still want their sweets. They still want their cookies and their ice cream and their snack cakes. They're kids. I don't want to take that away from them. Granted, they do understand, like, look at the sugar content, look at the carbs. I'm not really worried about them tracking their carbs or even paying attention to carbs so much as I am sugar, because a lot of things these days that are marketed towards children are full of sugar. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like, when I get my kids, every now and then they get a soda. You know, I don't do it every day. It's something that maybe once a week, maybe, like if they're lucky. And usually I try to persuade them to get the zero flavor. So for instance, they love Sprite. So I'm like, okay, well, you can have a Sprite Zero, but I'm not getting you a regular Sprite. And the reason is because when you turn the label around and you look at the sugar content, it's absolutely ridiculous. My son even grabbed one at Walmart one night, and I asked him, I said, well, how many grams of sugar does it have? And he said, like, his mouth dropped open immediately, and he was like, oh my gosh. He said, I think he said like 62 grams per, like, the entire 20-ounce bottle. That's ridiculous. That's more than anybody needs in a day, much less one drink. I never was a huge soft drink person. I did like Mountain Dew from time to time, and it was one of those things, like, I would let myself have a canned Mountain Dew, so that would be like 12 ounces, and it would be every now and then. Just because when I was pregnant with my daughter, I had some pre-diabetic issues, and my doctor made me cut off, like, out all sugar and like sugary drinks, and so I just got used to drinking a lot of water. But anyway, back to what I was originally saying. I'm sorry if I get on a rant. It's easy for me to do when I'm driving. But anyway, so basically, you know, you're going to make these sacrifices. You know, that's just a decision that you have to be okay with. And like I said, you have to find something to replace that. Not necessarily another grain or whatever. Some people don't eat any carbs at all. I am of the opinion, as long as it is a whole grain, such as quinoa. My dietitian even suggested farro. It's F-A-R-R-O. It's kind of like a wheat pasta, or like wheat rice. Well, I don't even know. I haven't even tried it. I've got it at home, but we haven't tasted it yet. She said she suggested that. You know, if we do spaghetti, like I did spaghetti the other night, and I used whole wheat noodles. Even when I do cook with whole wheat pasta or rice, like brown rice, or even the quinoa or whatever, I just don't eat a whole lot of it. The main reason being, it's a pasta. It is a, you know, it's going to swell up in my stomach, regardless if it's whole grain or whole wheat or whatever. And that just makes me really uncomfortable. So for me, personally, I just don't eat a whole lot of it. Like, when I made spaghetti, I maybe had 5 or 6 strings of the whole wheat spaghetti, and I was okay with that, because the sauce was so good. I did make a sauce kind of almost from scratch. I did use jarred sauce, but I sauteed bell peppers and onions and a little bit of garlic with Italian seasoning to give the sauce a little bit more flavor. So for me, that worked. We do a lot of vegetables at home. Let me get that notification out of there. We do a lot of broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and things like that. So I'm not really worried about my vegetable consumption. I think the biggest thing for me is throughout the day when I get hungry, if I don't have my meals planned out, like I know I'm going to eat this for breakfast, I know I'm going to have this for a snack, I know I'm going to eat this for lunch, and I know I'm going to have this for a snack, and then this is what we're having for dinner. I tend to get off, what I feel like, off track a little bit. But something that I've noticed recently is, even if I'm eating so good and so healthy, it's like my mind is trying to tell me, well, the reason why that number's not changing on the scale is because you're cheating. But then when I track my food intake and I go back and I look at it, I'm like, I'm not cheating. Sometimes I eat something that tastes so good to me that makes me feel like I'm cheating. And I don't know if that's what it is. I'm definitely going to talk to my emotional support nurse about it today, just because it's something that's really bothering me. It's like, I feel like I'm doing so well, and then all of a sudden that voice in my head pops up and says, no, you got to stop cheating. The number on the scale is lying to you. And, you know, and that is something that's so hard to deal with, y'all. It is so hard. Because you want to keep doing well and you want to keep seeing progress, But if you constantly have a voice in your head telling you that you're doing wrong and that you need to correct it, it messes with everything. I mean, it really does. So for the most part, I've been staying on track. One of my favorite snacks is Elevation brand. If you have an Aldi near you, there are Elevation brand bars that are like chocolate coconut, and they literally taste like a Mounds candy bar. There's only 1 gram of sugar, I think 2 grams of net carbs. I don't remember how many calories, but it's less than 200 calories. It's really good. And then these Blue Diamond salted caramel almonds are my next favorite. Like, I love those, y'all. They're so good. And there's only 3 grams of sugar per 1 ounce serving, which I do weigh them out. To me, it's like eating an Almond Joy. It really is so freaking good. And I account for that. That's one of my regular snacks. I don't have it every day. I have it usually like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. His sun is killing me this morning, y'all. But the other thing that I really enjoy that I had yesterday for the first time is the Dannon Light and Fit, or Fit and Light, or whatever it's called, the Dannon brand Greek yogurt. The flavor that I've been picking up and loving is pumpkin pie. And yesterday, what I did, because I just feel like I'm not getting enough protein on a daily basis, and so what I did was I took a scoop of Gene Pro and I put it in there and I mixed it all together, and then I took like half an ounce of those salted caramel almonds and I put it in there, put those in there. And so what it was for me was like, it really tasted like a piece of pumpkin pie with like nuts in it. But the entire protein count in the yogurt and everything, let's see, just the yogurt itself was like 42 grams. These almonds have 6 grams. Well, so that would have been 3. So like, okay, like 45 grams of protein in that one snack. That's pretty freaking good. I was rather impressed with the fact that it tasted so good. The Gene Pro mixes very well with the Greek yogurt. It doesn't mix so well with, say, applesauce or some stuff that's warmer. I can't get it to mix at all. But the yogurt was really, really good. So I guess, really, honestly, I've just got some emotional or mental things to work on, and for the most part, that's it for me. I was getting really discouraged when I realized that the scale hadn't moved again in a week. And when I woke up this morning, like I said, I got a lot of protein yesterday, and I got all my water. Well, I won't say all my water, but I got a lot of water yesterday, and I tried to eat, you know, decent sized decent amount of carbs. And when I saw, because yesterday when I weighed in, I was at 199 or 198, and I still hold that there's something wrong with my scale because it's just ridiculous. So I weighed in at like 198, whatever, which I had been down to 196.6, so I knew that was my, you know, that was, okay, let me explain this. When I weigh myself, and I do it every day, when I get to a newer low, I put that into my Fitness Pal, or I put that into my bariatric, whatever apps I track my weight in, which is like 4 apps. But I put that in, and I hold that as my current weight. And I don't care if 3 days in a row I weigh in 2 or 3 pounds more than that, because it could be water weight, or it could be, you know, that day I'm just bloated or whatever. So when I got on the scale this morning, and I saw 195, I was like, that's lower than my lowest low already. Like, and it's only been like a little over a week. So I stepped off the scale, stepped back on, calibrated it, and then stepped back on, and it said 195.0, like as plain as day. So I went with it, and I'm going to continue to go with it. I know that my weight's always a few pounds more than that when I go to my appointment, just because I've got shoes on, I've got clothes on. Like when I weigh myself, it's first thing in the morning. I haven't had anything to eat or drink, and I am naked. You know, let's be real there. So I know that I'm gonna probably be like 198 or whatever, but as long as I'm showing less than 200 on their scale, I'm good with it, because I hate seeing 200 on the scale. And honestly, I've seen it one time since I weighed 190, since I've gotten below. But anyway, I guess one of my main focuses today also is, you know, if you are having a hard time staying focused on your goal, you just have to keep going. Like, you just have to keep pushing yourself, and you have to keep telling yourself that, you know, you're not gonna get to your goal if you stop. And I've seen this saying all over Facebook, all over Pinterest, like, if you would have started 3 months ago, you would have been like, you know, I can't remember what the freaking thing is, but anyway, if you would start 3 months ago, whatever, you'd already be halfway to your goal, or something like that. Or if you started 3 months ago, you're gonna wish, or if you, I don't know. Anyway, well, I'll look that up and maybe redo that part. But I just feel like I understand, you know, why I've given up in the past before surgery, was because, number one, when you do regular diet and exercise and you have no restriction and you can eat whatever you want, it's so hard to stay on track. It doesn't matter how strong your self-control is. I mean, some people do it and they do great and they have completely changed their mindset. I don't know how those people do it, but I can tell you, before surgery, it was so hard for me to stay on track. If I did do well, I would do well for like a day, and then I would say the next day, I'd be like, oh, well, I did so good yesterday, you know, maybe I can go and have whatever, and I would allow myself to have whatever I wanted. And that's where I screwed up. I never stayed on track longer than a few weeks, and if I did, and then I wouldn't see results, and then I would feel like, what's the freaking point, you know? And that was really hard, and that's why I failed so many times at so many different diets, because I didn't see results, and I didn't get where I was going, and it was hard for me, like I said, to see results and then not be motivated to continue. And so I really am happy that I'm able to stay on track for the most part with my sleeve, and just continue to see results, because for me that's a huge deal. To see results on a weekly or bi-weekly basis helps me stay motivated. And if I stay motivated, I feel like I can motivate others. I can encourage others, because I know I'm staying motivated. It's not like used to, I would fail on my diet, and because one of my friends was on the same diet or doing something different or whatever, and they weren't seeing results, and they were like, what am I doing wrong? And I'd be like, look, it happens to all of us. You know, we're all in the same boat. We can't all, you know, diet and exercise and lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And I would make up excuses, but I wouldn't encourage and try to lift other people up, is what I'm trying to say. And now that I see motivation, now that I see results, I have more motivation. Therefore, I motivate others and I encourage others. And on a regular basis, I get on the gastric sleeve forums, you know, where people get on there and they're like, oh, I'm 3 months post-op and I've only lost 50 pounds. And I'm thinking to myself, really? Only 50 pounds? Do you realize how much 50 pounds is? Do you realize that in 3 months' time, that's only 90 days? I mean, that's freaking awesome. And I try to explain that to people, like, you've lost a whole total of 50 pounds. Be proud. Wear that, you know, that smile, and know that you have done an awesome job. And so I guess what I'm trying to get at here is, if you see results and you have motivation, try to encourage other people. Try to build people up, because whether you believe it or not, they are listening and they are paying attention, and it does help. It really does. I love it when people comment and tell me, oh, you're looking so great. And, you know, I hate it when people ask me how many pounds I've lost, because it's not about the weight. It's not about the pounds for me. It's all about how I feel. And honestly, y'all, I have been feeling really good. I would like to exercise more, yes. The other night I was feeling like, you know what, I've just been a lazy bum and I need to get up and walk. And so it was like 6:30 at night and I was like, I'm going for a walk. My husband was like, what? It's almost dark. I said, I don't care. I'm in my neighborhood. People around here know me. I've got on reflective clothing. I'm going for a walk. And so I did. I got I already had my tennis shoes on. I darted out the yard and I walked all the way around, all the way to the stop sign. We have like a circular road that we live on, and so I walked all the way to the stop sign and walked all the way back to my house, and it probably was like a quarter of a mile, maybe a little bit more. I didn't download an app to track that until when I got home. So my next walk I will track it though and see how far it is. But anyway, I'm also in a challenge on Fitbit, and so that's really helped motivate me too, because I don't want to be the last one. I used to be the last one. Every time we did a Fitbit challenge, I was always like coming in the last place, and everybody else had like tens of thousands of steps in a week or whatever, and I'm like, I got like 27,000. You know, that's ridiculous. There's no need for that. But I'm doing really good on that, and I'm like first place, or I've been remaining first place or whatever since it started. So that helps too. So if you have a Fitbit, you want to look me up. I can't remember my username, but I should be under Amanda Griffin. Anyway, guys, I'm on my way to my dietitian and fitness and emotional support nurse appointments this morning. I gotta be there at 8:30. It's currently 5 after 8, and traffic is starting to get a little backed up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here, but I will definitely update after my appointment to let you know what they say about the mental and emotional side effects or whatever of that I've been having and dealing with feeling like I'm on track, and then my mind feels like, or tells me that I'm not, and just feeling really horribly about that. So yeah, so I'll leave you with that, and I'll come back in a little bit.